Because I'm just wondering, if people will say that if River State is going to, not experience violence in these elections. I'm looking at the front page, just the first page of Daily Times, and I'm looking at the diagram that the cartoonist has there, Rivers rerun election, and he's showing the kettle at boiling point, apprehension, tension. That's what it looks like is going to happen for elections, to elect people who are going to govern them. They believe that if the elections are going to become peaceful, it lies in both your hands and the hands of the current governor of the state.
Why don't people also say that I had to only intervene because my people were in hiding? It was as if they were not only helpless, it was as if they had no leader. By the time I came home, the story in Port Harcourt was I have abandoned them to the comfort of Abuja.
So are you on the offensive now?
I'm not on the offensive.
But they say you've been making inciting statements across the media.
Please, like one. Just cite an example.
Because they kept on saying that you have threatened that they're going to flood the place with security and that anyone
how would
with
that
military, they say that you've threatened to arrest their members. In fact, they also claim that their members are in hiding.
I'm not the commander or chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Only one person can pose the military. I'm not the chief of army staff, nor am I the IGP, the Inspector General of Police. I'm sure the Air Force is not involved. I'm sure maybe the Navy, maybe Navy will be involved in the water. So I can't give an order that.
But they say they've seen you boasting that
just
you flood the place.
Just hold on, gentlemen, hold on. What you will say is that the president has a responsibility to protect lives and property, and you're hearing the numbers, the number of policemen that will be there just for an election because of one man. Because of one man, I became governor. Nobody died. In my tenure, I fought to make sure that I protected both the lives of PDP, ABGA, and other members of the party.
How did you do that?
How did I do that? By engaging the security men. In this case, the security men are his arms. He's not ready. I was telling one of your reporters here that I forgot a document I was to come with. 3 armed robbers were arrested by the police. They confessed to have killed soldiers. They confessed to have killed soldiers. The Attorney General of Rivers State now writes an opinion that they should be released. Not even on bail. They should not be charged to court.
Because it goes back to what Markwe asked, and I thought we haven't done justice to that question, and it has to do with the police. We have seen the Commissioner of Police on live television who has told the world that what we've seen in Rivers State activities of cultists. We've also had the Commissioner of Information from River State who's keyed into what the police has said, because he's not a policeman. You have to wait for the police. And if you say you're getting something contrary, perhaps you should let us in on whose account are you basing your facts on, different from that of the police in River State?
Suleiman, let us go with the police. Let's assume they are cultists. Does police not have a responsibility to ensure that all the cultists are protected? The responsibility of the Nigerian police is to protect lives and properties. These cultists, where were they 8 years ago? Were they just initiated as soon as I left office? You get what you want. Look, for Christ's sake, I've been a governor. If a governor comes and begins to wine and dine with cultists, you embolden them.
But
I'm a Catholic Christian, and I'm very proud to say I'm a Catholic Christian. And I will never sit down with a cultist. In fact, if you want me to live here, just tell me that this is a murderer. I will leave. I won't feel comfortable sitting with anybody who would have killed. So as a governor, I never sat down with a cultist. But in this government, they are appointing Chief Ateke Tom as special advisor to the
what is wrong with that?
I don't know.
But there were those who said, many are concerned about what is going on in Rivers State, and they just hope that this will end peacefully. But you also said that while you were governor,
this will be very peaceful. The reason why they're sending security is because it will be very peaceful.
No, but they also said there's a history to all of this, and that the whole world at the time did see on TV Chidi Lloyd, how a member of the House of Rep. And they thought, look, what exactly is going on?
Oh no, for Christ's sake, again, that was within the period that Nyesom Wike wanted to be governor. The first attempt was to try to impeach me.
You were governor at the time.
You know what I'm thinking?
If you don't want me to answer a question, then I will answer. They wanted to impeach me. I was not in the house. So you couldn't have said it was me. And at that point, they came with just 5 persons, with again militants or thugs into the state assembly, with the backing of the Nigerian police, under Mbo, trying to impeach me. And I walked in there with my personal security. By which time they were already fighting. If we did anything, was to stop that fight. If we achieved anything, was to stop that fight. And they had called me to say, look, there's a fight going on in the assembly and people are freely using guns. I said, what about the Commissioner of Police? They say it was across just watching. So I had to drive in there with my personal security to secure the thing. And a major in the army was locked underground for 9 months.
But it was widely reported that the state government said they were not interested in trying the case.
No, it's not true. No matter came up.
He wasn't prosecuted for that.
Why have they prosecuted? I think the matter went to court.
They said the AGF entered the knowledge that they were not interested in the case.
That's not true.
Mr. Ameachi, this is 2016, and one wonders why we're still talking about so many other issues. You've been the governor of Rivers State, and Rivers has done a whole lot for you, Rivers State. A whole lot. You were even the speaker before becoming the governor. If you care for Rivers State, why don't you sit with the governor of Rivers State and see how you both can bring peace to Rivers State?
Please tell me how you sit. I'm willing to sit with him. Can you give me how to sit with him? I'm willing.
I'm quite sure. Now that you say you're willing, if you really want that, it's doable.
You knew I was the governor. You're talking as if I wasn't. I had people who didn't like me, but I needed to move this state forward. I needed to govern. The first thing I did was visit their houses at 12 midnight. You may not like me, but let's all work together for Rivers State. I did that.
You can still do that.
No, you can't. I'm no longer the governor. You see, I told you, for 8 months I kept away. My mandate now is deliver logistics to Nigerians. And I need to face railways, I need to face maritime, I need to face aviation.
You represent Rivers State in that cabinet. That's what you do.
I don't know if I do represent Rivers State. I know that the law says there will be 1 minister per state.
Yeah.
And I work for the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
But don't you see yourself as an ambassador of
Rivers
State?
I am an ambassador for everybody, both APC and PDP. I've never refused to see a PDP.
Because you just went home and you were touched by those that were killed.
Yes.
We had
behind children that come.
We had a young girl who narrated how her father was beheaded, and if this has touched you the way it touched all Nigerians, we felt that you should be able to sit with the governor and say, hey, come on,
Sulema, you're asking a question that you have already answered. I say, is there an invitation letter before me and that I turned down?
You don't need an invitation letter.
So I'll just drive to government house.
But you can initiate it.
When you get to government house, they open the gate. They don't open the gate like that. Nobody walks into the government house without an invitation from the governor. Nobody does that.
Have you reached out to him saying, look, this needs to stop? We need to talk.
Did you hear me say that for 8 months? Okay, take a man like Peter Side. Is that a person that you can refer to as that is as peaceful as I am? The two of us abhor violence because life is irreplaceable. And you can't kneel down every day and be praying to God when you've killed somebody or when you've authorized the death of somebody, because you can't replace life. I've never seen where life is replaced. And then somebody who is the governor, let's assume that we are the killers. Let's assume that Ameachi, Peter Side are the killers. What should the governor do? And we are protected. Shouldn't he find a solution of how to reach that Ameachi and Peter Side and say, how do we stop the killing? Now, you're asking a question when all his council chairmen are known militants. All.
That's an allegation.
No. Quick example. The chairman of Buguma, Asato local government area, is living in government house now because he can't go to work. Why can't he go to work? The police stormed his house, found AK-47, live ammunitions, found. Please call the commissioner of police and ask him. Call the director of SSS. Found. They went to arrest him. He was taken away by government. So nobody has seen him since that day till today. Because he was a known militant.
When you say known,
he was granted amnesty. When I say known, he was on the list of those. These are facts. When I say known, he was on the list of those granted amnesty. His name is Suboma Jacris. Please, can you make your investigation? I'm mindful of the law. I told you there are 3 things I fear, or 3 persons I fear. I fear God, I fear the law, I fear my wife.